Okay, I guess this thing's recording. Trying out a new screencast technology. So we're doing some simple Python programming, and in this particular one we're going to be constructing a high-low game. In other words, guess the number between 1 and 100, and it will tell you if it's too high or too low. So let's go ahead and bring up where we're going to be typing our program in. Get everything brought up here. Okay, so we'll make a comment here. This is the high-low game. Alright, the high-low guessing game. Now what we'll need to do is we'll need to import the random module, okay, to generate random numbers. That'll be the first thing we need to do. And then what we're going to do is we're going to generate a random number. And actually it'll be a random integer. How's that? Between 1 and, let's say, 100. Okay. And of course we'll need to get our input, and we'll need to convert that to an integer since our input is a string always. So we want to guess a number between 1 and 100, including 1 and 100, right? Inclusively. All right. We will need to do some counting. So we will, let's see, equal 1. We'll talk more about the program after we run the problem. Run it. All right. Okay, so we're going to have a while loop in here. And we haven't used this one here yet. And basically what this says is while n is not equal to n. Okay, so this is the number right here that we're guessing. This is the number that's been randomly generated in between 1 and 100. All right, and so we have this exclamation point and this equal sign, and what this means is n is not equal to n. Well, big N is not equal to little n. Okay, so we continue to run this until this becomes false. In other words, this is equal to this. Okay. Alright, so we're going to have a number of if statements. We'll have to take care of this case. If the number that we guess is less than the actual number, alright, then what are we going to do? Well, if it's less than the actual number, then we'll want to print too low. Okay, print too low. You're too low. Alright, so in other cases, now this will be, and we'll need to come all the way lined up with the I here in the if statement. And this is another, so this is else if, so if this is not true, then we'll say else if. Okay. And I see something fishy here because that should be, oh, there's an S in there. That should be highlighted, turned a different color. So else if okay, n is greater than capital N. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, we've got this in here. We've got to put that in there also. N is, or little n is greater than capital N, right? If we guess too low, then we print too low. If n is greater than, if our guess is greater than the actual number, then obviously we should be printing, oh man, this caps, printing too high. Not height, but too high, too high. All right. Okay, so, all right, if it's not this case and it's not this case, then there's only one other case that it could possibly be. Let's scroll up screen here. There's only one other case it could possibly be, and so what we'll do on this last one here, we'll say just else, right? Else print correct guess. All right. And now what we'll want to do is print out let's see. I'm trying to remember here. Okay, so correct guess, input guess again. Why are we doing that? Okay, print out too low, print out too high, print out correct guess. Okay, integer, input guess again, guess again. Okay, so every time we guess again, right, so that's just going to count. Alright, keep up with the number of times we guess. Seems like we need to put a break right here. I don't. Alright, we'll get it figured out here in a minute. Okay, so print the number is, we'll just go ahead and print out what the number is. Print the number of guesses is, right, so we'll print out how many times that you actually had to guess. Okay. Alright. Okay, so this is how this is working here. As long as this says this is not equal to n, what happens is down here, in other words, if this is false and that's false, then this must be true, because these are the only three possibilities, right? Well, if this is true, then what happens is it says that, well, n is now equal to n, and so when it goes back up here, that's when the program breaks. Okay, the program breaks. Alright, but if this is false and either one of these are true, then what it'll do is it'll continue to go down, and then it'll ask for us to guess again. See that? For us to guess again. Okay, so let's go through and run this and see how this works out. Alright, so it says guess a number between 1 and 100, and you know what? We need a space on that. That is just way too close. Let's try running that again. Okay, so we want to guess a number between 1 and 10, so let's go ahead and guess 50. Right, and 50 was too low, so let's guess again. So let's say, let's go 75, that'll be the midpoint. That's too high. So let's go between 75, or wait a minute. Whoa, 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 Too low, yeah. So let's go between 75 and 50 now. And what's that going to be? 68 or something? I don't know. We'll just try 65. So that's too low. So now we know it's between 65 and 75. Let's try 70. Okay, so 70 is too low. So now we know it's between 70 and 75. Let's try 73. Oh, and so there's the number. So the number is 73, and the number of guesses is 5. Number of guesses is 5. Okay. So here's the deal. What we'll want to do, and I'm not sure we'll do it in the next video, but what we're going to want to do is we might, it'll be an advanced, kind of much more advanced. What we're going to do is instead of us actually guessing the number, inputting a number, we're going to write an algorithm that does the guessing for us. So when it gets to that point of the problem, when it goes through and loops through, it's going to go ahead and get a new n. You see that? And so, and that n then will be assigned, and then it'll look at that particular n. All right. So we want to pick an algorithm that that minimizes the number of guesses. Minimizes the number of guesses. And here's a hint. The hint is you always want to try to take the midpoint, right? So in this particular case, we picked 50, but 50 was too low, so we want to go between 50 and 100, and 75 would be the middle, right? And so then what we'd want to do, since that said that was too high, we would want to go between 75 now and 50, and you'd want to find the midpoint between 75 and 50, and then guess that number, and so forth. And then what you'll do is run that simulation like 10,000 times or something and see actually what is the average number of guesses, and my guess is it's something like 8, or I think 8 maybe. Okay, so anyway, and that's going to be a little bit more advanced, right? So I think we're going to run some simulations on some other stuff and then eventually come back to this. Okay, come back to this. So we're over here doing some basic Python programming. However, we are starting to get into a little bit more complicated things, and I really love simulating real-world situations, and we're going to be doing a lot of probability problems and so forth coming up on that. And so get ready. I'll see you in the next tutorial.